Hey guys, how are you today? Another video with Fix It Pros. Today we have an iPhone XR that the screen is not working. So what we're gonna do today is we're going to repair the screen, and we are going to use a new XR screen that we purchased. It's very high quality, and this one, I like this one because it already has the back plate built on already. I'm going to show you another trick to fasten these down so that they don't break. But the first thing we want to do is open this up. So we're going to use our pentalobe screwdriver, which we have already removed. Basically, you just want to pop these off. I guess I already removed it already. So we'll take those off. Then you want to take this type of Sesmo tool, flat tool. And you got to be careful. I would heat this up. This one kind of seems like already been repaired already, but I would kind of heat this up a little bit just to loosen this up, especially if the LCD is good, because maybe you can sell it later or possibly refurbish it. You want to pop this open here and be very gentle, because if you never repaired one of these, it opens up kind of like you got to pull it down here. Make sure this pops out here. And then it's going to open up like a book, so you got to be very careful with these cables. So you're just going to open it up gently like this. You're going to see how these cables kind of get a little entangled, so just be careful opening this up. I don't know what that. Okay, that's probably what happened here. That should have been on top of there. Okay, so that'll open up like this. Okay. And you'll see this tape, and the reason why I taped that down is that this has been repaired before, and it came in, and this cable right here was warped, and we figured out that it got like that once it was closed. So I was just trying to do a little test to make sure it would stay still, and it did with this tape. And I'll show you how to basically what we're gonna do, why we're gonna do that a little bit later. Okay, so let's begin. Going to take that off, so that shouldn't have been there. And then we're going to take our Y tool, and we're going to take this off here. Just going to be a little careful, put everything in order so we don't screw things up. And then you're going to have to lift this up gently. You're going to have to do the same thing when you install it. After you install it. So there's going to be 3 more Y tool screws. There's one underneath this flex cable here. Just going to have to bend that a little bit. And then we're going to disconnect this battery right here. Usually I use my nail if I don't have like a plastic tool to open that with, which I don't seem to have one. Try to use my nail. Just get underneath there. I'm gonna have to. My nail got cut down. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna use this tool here. Be very careful not to dig too deep into the LCD. Just try to get underneath. Too deep into the motherboard. Just try to get underneath the metal part. Okay. We'll do the same thing here. And the same thing here. Because there's little microchips that. ICU chips that you can like break off. Okay, same thing over here. We're gonna keep these in order. It's easier. You don't have to think about it. You just put the right bolt there, especially when you got multiple repairs. Okay, and then this top one right here uses regular Phillips or whatever you call this. Okay, then you're going to take out this plate right here. This is underneath there, so put that right there. And you're going to take off, this is the front facing the Face ID cable. You'll pop that off. Okay, so there you go. What I usually like to do is to test the screen, but I also like to kind of, for the sake of time, I like to install the Face ID and then because it's really not that difficult to take off. So we're going to put these in order again. There's a screw missing here. Leave that out for now. And we're going to put this on there. Now this one you have to be very careful, okay? Because this is the face, this is the little speaker box, but underneath here is the Face ID that can get damaged very quickly, very easily. I'm going to show you one thing, 1 second. Okay, so underneath here, there's this little kind of, is that flap still there? No, there was usually, because this has been repaired before, but usually there's like this little metal thing that just kind of slides on. It just kind of holds the Face ID thing together here with a sensor. Okay, so what I like to do is I usually use like a hot plate. I'm gonna just kind of go over here. I got a hot plate next to me, and I can really be able to see it, but I like to warm it up a little bit, just like a few seconds. You'll feel it get a little bit warm, and then the best way I try to is to remove this whole bracket. Try to get it out. Sometimes it comes off easy, but I try to remove the whole thing because then you avoid potentially breaking things. So if you can take it all out, that's the best thing to do. And if there is one already built in, you know, to me, I'd rather take a risk just ripping this out, because usually this is not really like super glued in. I'd rather take that out, take the risk, than do it on there. And then you're gonna have to take this out because it already kind of came with one already. It's already on the other one. So you just pop this out. Okay. And now you're gonna have these tapes. I like to test the screens first because, you know, then if there's a problem you can return it and then you didn't take all the tapes off. But now we're going to install this right back where it should go. And that's right there. Actually, I should be over a little bit. Okay. It's right back there. If you can see that. So everything's nice and flush. Okay. And now we're going to put back screws. That one. That one. Okay. This one is the Y tool. Yep. Super tiny. Okay, and then just take a look and see that it's nice and flush. Okay, that looks good. Okay, I'm going to show you. Like I said, I usually like buying these already with the back plate because it's just a lot easier to manipulate. And it's already installed because these little hinges, you can actually break the LCD. So now we're going to test the we're gonna test the screen, but by doing so we don't have to disconnect these things so many times. So we're gonna pop this in here so we see that. Make sure the battery is always disconnected because you can blow out the motherboard backlight. Okay, connect this one here. Okay, now we can test it. Okay, everything's connected. Let's turn it on. Okay, cool. Apple logo coming on. And test it in a second. No, that was my Tecton tool. Okay, so let's take a look. Swipe up. Okay, so there's a passcode on here, which is fine. But I just want to generally test the screen, make sure everything's working. And it looks like it's working. Awesome. Okay. Let me see if we can test some other things while we're here. Yep. All the messages are coming in. Yep. It looks good. Okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna shut it down. Oh, I already shut it on, sorry. Okay, so the screen looks good. We're gonna take this little tape off here. Okay, so now we're gonna put everything back. These are fairly pretty easy to repair. Hopefully you can see all this what I'm doing. So we're gonna put this plate back here. Okay, make sure this is gonna go right on top here. On top of there. So underneath, I'm gonna put everything back in its place. So see how I kind of like put the bolts in an order of how I took them out. So I don't have to think too much. You know, one goes here. Oh, look at that one. Actually, didn't even put it in. This one went here. Okay, make sure it's in. And because this phone was repaired before, you know, this was actually kind of glued down over here. So, you know, you got to gently lift that up. Sometimes I use a little like alcohol. I get it on the Sesmo and I just kind of put a little bit of liquid in there, you know, and then, or electronic cleaner just to dissolve the glue so it'll just lift easy. Okay, now we use our other screwdriver for this last one. Okay, now same goes over here. I'm gonna put this one. Everything seems to be connected properly. And usually on iPhones, you know, I don't put all these screws in with the battery on, but this one you kind of have to put the shields. You have to connect the battery first to put the shields on, especially like down here. So I'll just keep the phone off. Okay. Now everything's connected. I'm gonna put this. Again, I kept everything in order because sometimes some of these screws are longer than others. And you gotta be careful, you don't wanna screw into the motherboard. And then get the blue screen of death. Okay. So normally here we just close it down, but because of what we've seen, I think it's you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. So I'm gonna take some tape. This is Kapton tape, and I'm going to secure these cables here, okay? Because when you're closing it down, you just don't know. So what actually I want to do is, I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to secure this cable up here with a little bit of tape. Okay, see that? So I put a little tape there, secure that there, so it doesn't move around when I'm closing it. And then I want to take a little bit more tape and secure this part here. And it's not going to do any harm securing it. I'll put this right above here. Okay. I think that'll be fine. So it's nice and flat. Okay, so when we close this, it's gonna. Okay. So now we're ready to close. Now you're gonna see these little hinges up here. They're gonna go underneath here. There's like these little teeth that go underneath here. Each one clicks in. Okay. So let's turn it back on. I like to turn it on when I close it, so just in case I break it somewhere, I know where I broke it. And we're gonna start to slowly make sure these are kind of flat. You're gonna slowly put these in there. Okay. And then once they're nice and flush in there, you gotta kind of push it that way as you're kind of closing. And you'll see it kind of gently pop in. There you go. Nice. Very good. Now, the last step is to put our screws back in, the bottom screws, with the pentalobe screwdriver. So with this one. And there you have it. Okay, iPhone XR screen repaired. Everything seems to be working. I don't want to put the password in wrong. We'll go to the emergency screen. Everything is done. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Please subscribe if you like this video.